up, reactors? I got another reaction video for you guys today, and it's brought to you by Heavy Spoilers. Today, I will be reacting to his ending explained of the movie Morbius. I absolutely hated this movie. I did not like it. I posted my review on TikTok and here on YouTube, so make sure to check that out. Also, if you haven't seen Morbius, you shouldn't be watching this reaction, let alone this video, because this video will contain spoilers. But if you don't care and you don't plan on seeing this movie, then you're at the right place to see me react to his ending explained. With that being said, let's get into it.
Okay, so Sony are back with Morbius to bring us more BS, and this feels like the perfect film to feature
True.
a vampire because it sucks.
He's right.
Jared Leto needs to let go of his dreams of being in a good comic book movie.
Damn.
The film is out now, and it contains possibly the most confusing ending since Mystique picked up Wolverine at the end of Days of Future Past. The movie has a lot to unpack from it, but luckily, in one of the weirdest marketing moves ever, director Daniel Espinosa spoiled the whole film before its release.
Right.
It does clear up some of the questions that
I
you
talked
might
about
have.
that in my
I
review.
initially thought him doing this might be an early April Fool's, but the movie does end the way that he said, with a character traveling across the multiverse from the MCU into the Sony one. It's the biggest downgrade since Jared Leto went from the Joker to Morbius, and by the end of it, you'll be hoping that Blade is going to show up in the universe too. Throughout this video, we're going to be breaking it all down, so hold on to your butts as we go through it. I'll try and go easy on it though, but there will be heavy spoilers. I did see how empty my cinema was, so I'm guessing you're here without seeing it, but yeah, just a heads up, mate. Now make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you have fun, and with that out of the way,
My theater
thanks for
was
clicking this. Now let's get
less
into
than 20
Morbius.
people.
Okay, so Morbius is a Marvel legend. More like Marvel legend figure. Throughout his solo film, we follow him as he attempts to cure a rare blood disease, and he uses a treatment that eventually turns him into a living vampire that must feast on flesh in order to stay alive. The film opens with him leaving a helicopter in order to get up close and personal with some vampire bats, and from here the movie tells his origin story through flashbacks. He attempts to also save his childhood friend Lucian, who gets renamed Milo, played by Matt Smith. Milo has financed a lot of his work, and he's just as desperate to be cured as Sony are to make us think that this has anything to do with the MCU. Now, Morbius is the creator of a form of artificial blood that we're told to save more lives than penicillin, and alongside his co-doctor Martine Bancroft, he carries out experiments on himself. The pair travel out to international waters in order to not get arrested for their human trials, and after injecting himself with vampire bat DNA, he becomes a monster. Morbius kills everyone on the boat except for Martine, and though he flees before the ship is discovered, he becomes #1 suspect. Back home, Morbius tries to take the artificial blood to quench his thirst, but the window between these feeds becomes less and less, and thus he needs some of the red stuff. Milo comes to him at this point and also asks to be cured, but after Morbius rejects him, he takes matters into his own hands. Milo then starts feasting on people, and Morbius is blamed for the crimes. He's sent to jail, and after realizing that Milo is behind it all, he escapes and decides to take him down.
Right.
Milo kills their childhood mentor, who doesn't even have a name in the cast list, and he also seemingly murders Martine.
I swear.
Wraps up much in the way that you'd expect, with Morbius beating Milo, and he travels off on the run.
I was like, am I
afflicted with this
tripping?
condition,
Does this guy not
unable
have
to
a
live in
name? I don't know his
society.
name.
However, it's revealed that Martine was also injected with the serum, and she awakens as one of the undead. The first major question that you likely have is, what universe is Morbius set in? Well, the trailers had a lot of people scratching their heads, as we got shots of things like Oscorp, a poster of Spider-Man with Murderer on it, and of course Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture. Absolutely all of these scenes and shots from the trailer don't make it into the movie, and it very much feels like the studio are
They
partaking
cut a
in
lot out of
advertising
those trailers.
to get us interested in the film.
A lot
And
what's
most
in the
studios
trailers,
sometimes
not in the
hide
movie.
or alter things for trailers, but they don't out and out oversell what's going to be in the movie, and it does feel quite cheap to do this. Hell, this is the studio that even had people thinking Doctor Strange was Mephisto for a bit because of how he was in the No Way Home trailer, but this feels like a definite step above that. It's left a lot of people confused. However, the director has stated that the movie does take place in the same universe as Tom Hardy's Venom. Now, though the shot of Spider-Man is removed from the movie, he has confirmed that there is a version of the web slinger in this universe.
It's Andrew.
But he kept tight-lipped about it.
I think it's Andrew.
Didn't mind spoiling the whole movie, did you? But moving on now. We already know
Venom
that Tobey
and
Maguire's
Morbius
universe has
are
its
in
own Venom
Andrew
entity,
Garfield's.
Topher Grace, so that rules him out as being the Spider-Man in this one. Tom Hardy went to the MCU, but he returned because he wasn't a part of that world, and thus it also rules out Tom Holland. All that remains is Andrew Garfield, and all that hype for them bringing back the actor has turned to worry, because if it is him, then yeah,
He's
they
gonna
really
come
need to
back,
make
I'm
sure
telling
that
you.
script is Spider-Verse levels before they start filming. Don't let them massacre my boy. Now, the reason that I say if it is him is because it could also possibly be Miles Morales. Though he hasn't been cast in live action yet, they could potentially bring him in here. However, Miles is often mentored by Peter, so they would likely need to have him in the universe first before introducing him fully. I say that though, but yeah, Venom showed us that they don't mind introducing Spider-Man characters without Spider-Man actually being there. Now, the director did say that we would learn very soon what's happening, so we might get an announcement either over the weekend or in the next one. Now, the two post-credit scenes are pretty much completely interlinked with each other, and Sony are very much pushing this as a movie that you need to see in order to understand how their Sinister Six is formed. Though we got very close to having the group in No Way Home, they have
Those
now finally
post-credit
put their plans
scenes.
into full effect, and unlike the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, they now have a full slate of movies. Kraven the Hunter is next, and I'm just hoping that Marvel Studios steps in and takes the reins before things get out of hand.
They need to,
I'm
man.
not craving what they're
They
doing,
need
eh?
to.
Thank you. What a terrific audience. Hey, I'm here
That's what I said in my
the
review,
film
man.
culminates with us in the MCU's New York. The sky cracks open, much like how it did at the end of No Way Home, and we cut to Toomes, who's glowing white in his prison cell. For some reason, because he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, he's getting flung across the multiverse into Sonyland, even though that completely disregards the rules set up by the spell. That's not how the spell works. Now, when the spell was first interrupted, it started pulling people into the MCU who knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and at the end of the movie, they were returned home after Strange erased this knowledge from everyone's mind. Toomes wouldn't need to go into another dimension because he's already home, and Sony just seemed to be messing up the rules of their own movie. It begs the question, why didn't MJ, Ned, the Avengers, J. Jonah Jameson, hell, the entire world who knew get sent over there? But moving on. Now, Toomes finds himself in a different cell, and then we get a news report which regards it as a bizarre appearance in the prison that no one can explain. The reporter then says that a hearing is being held that could lead to his immediate release, and we then see him being escorted out of the prison. This appears to be the scene from the trailers in which he met Morbius for the first time, but like I said, it was removed. Now, it actually would have made sense to have been left in, as it would explain how he ends up meeting the character in the following scene, but nope, can't have our Sony movies making sense now, can we? Now, Adrian is let go because, hey, if a Ted Bundy variant showed up randomly in this
Randomly, he gets out of prison, like, he goes in prison, gets out immediately in the next post-credit scene, and has his suit, which is from another universe.
And after reaching it, the Vulture swoops in.
Oh,
Although
no.
the director didn't say how he got his costume, he did state that Toomes is resourceful and that it's a slightly different version from the MCU one. The wings now have bright beaming lights on them, and
I gotta
the
admit, his
mask is slightly
entrance
different. Rather than wearing a
goes hard.
standard jet pilot helmet with an oxygen mask, Toomes now has a one that resembles more of a beak. He says he's unsure how he got there, but he thinks that it might have something to do with your old friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, we can't play the scene, but he's clearly as confused as we are over the whole ordeal. Therefore, I think we can kind of guess that his memory has been wiped too, and that he now no longer remembers Peter Parker as the webhead.
He knows
Thus,
only
Strange
Spider-Man,
might have
not
across the
Peter
entire
Parker.
multiverse,
True.
and Toby could be returning home to find MJ is now dating another 5 people again or something. Now, Vulture says that he's still figuring out the universe, but that a bunch of people like them should team up and do some quote-unquote good. Morbius says it's intriguing, which ends the film, and thus the birth of the Sinister Six begins. So yeah, the guy is still figuring out the universe, but is resourceful enough to pull together a Vulture costume. Just feels like they did a Moon Knight and said, random bullshit, go. Because, yeah, weird. Now, they have said that they want to do some good, and obviously Morbius is somewhat of an anti-hero. Toomes has had a second chance, and maybe they've changed. However, we do know from the plans by Sony that they will be becoming the villains that they are in the comics, and this will of course throw them up against Spider-Man. Now, as mentioned earlier, we also know that Kraven is coming around the corner, and it is possible that Venom may also be brought into the ranks. This version's Eddie Brock knew who Spider-Man was because Venom's collective symbiote subconscious span the entire multiverse, and thus he plucked the information from other versions of himself. These have also had vendettas against Spider-Man, which could potentially tip him into seeing him as a danger. Now, I think it's kind of weird to do this arc with Vulture, as he already somewhat redeemed himself, and the movie is just putting him back to square one.
Right.
In Homecoming, he of course wanted to rob Tony Stark because he saw it as an injustice that
He
and
totally
James
redeemed
Gunn took
himself,
away his
and then
business.
they just
Toomes
trashed
pulled
his
off a
character
big
arc.
job,
Just
and
like that,
Spider-Man tried to save
in
his
1
life, which is
minute
pretty
of a
much
clip
why
of
he
a
kept his
post-credit scene.
identity secret from Matt
Makes no
Gargan.
sense.
I think going forward, he will probably go on a similar arc in not knowing who Spider-Man is, fighting him, realizing he's a good kid, and then deciding to let the guy live. He might even die down the line, and those are the sorts of arcs I can see him going on. However, for the next couple of movies, expect to see him popping up in post-credit scenes as a Nick Fury-type figure, recruiting villains from Spidey's Rogue Gallery. The movie has several nods to other Spider-Man characters, and on the Daily Bugle pages that pop up, we get mentions of Black Cat, Rhino, and also Chameleon. Rhino, of course, featured in the Garfield film, I think both Chameleon and Black Cat would be great additions as long as they're handled correctly. Now, there isn't really much.
Well, Chameleon's supposed to be in the new Craven,
and typically the members
Craven the
of the group
Hunter
tend to be
movie
more
too.
in line with what we had in No Way Home. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, but there is a big chance that they're going to f it up. Now, the film is a complete mess, and it's wild that we've gone from one of the best comic book movies in Batman to one of its worst in less than a month. Yeah. After seeing what Sony is bringing to the table, I can completely see why Feige got Venom into the MCU, took the symbiote, and then sent him back quicker than he arrived. It's clear they don't want Sony connected, and unfortunately, Marvel Studios is stuck in this position where they have to play ball with the studio in order to have their biggest name as part of the MCU. The first trailer released for this movie all the way back in January 2020, and I think at this point that Sony just wanted the whole thing out. Lots of things feel majorly underdeveloped, and you have some breakneck twists and turns. Morbius turns into a vampire without us seeing any real transformation, and Matt Smith's turn comes completely out of the blue. The police characters
out of the
no
blue
character development,
and
everything just feels like it's a trailer where you're getting the plot points but no depth beyond that. Honestly, the movie makes House of Gucci look like it should have won the Oscars that it thought it was going to get, and everything is a misfire. The story is dated, the editing is terrible, and I would advise Sony to take a serious look at these films and ask if it's worth getting in some better talents to help to write them. Overall, it's just a massive misfire. It sucks. I know I did that joke twice, but 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Now, I'd of course love to hear your thoughts, so make sure you comment below and let me know. We are running a competition right now, giving away 3 copies of Spider-Man No Way Home on the 15th of April, and all you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the film. We pick the comments at random at the end of the month, and
my thoughts on the film have already been expressed in my TikTok review and my YouTube review. Make sure you watch both of those.
Moon Knight episode 1, which will be linked on screen
right now. This movie,
way better video than this, way better Marvel property than this, just all around better. Sorry for ruining your day. Yeah, thanks for sitting until the end of the video. I've been Paul, you've been the best, and take care of yourself, mate. We had a laugh with this one, and I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.
If you guys haven't subscribed to Heavy Spoilers, subscribe to him. Seriously, he's really good at what he does, and he's so quick with these ending explains. Like, immediately, right after you watch a movie, boom, it's already up. Or, for instance, Marvel shows premiere at 3 a.m. in the morning or at 12 a.m. at midnight. It's up within under 2 hours. His editing skills are quite fire and pretty quick. I don't know how he does it. But yeah, that Morbius movie was not good, and things just happen out of nowhere, and they just jam-pack it in, and it's just like, it's like throwing gum at a wall and hoping that it stick. And it's a nice hot day, so that it's not going to stick. But yeah, the very good ending explained by Heavy Spoilers. But with that being said, post your comment about what you thought of this video from Heavy Spoilers and what you think about my reaction. But also, share this video. That helps too. And hit that like button. Obviously, hit that subscribe button. Come on. And for bonus, turn on those notification bells so you can know when I drop my very next reaction video. With that being said, guys, it was a pleasure. Alright, it was a pleasure. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.